Hello, my name is Laura Dutton, and I work in the senior living industry. Thank you for having me be part of your event today. I appreciate it. Today I'm going to speak with you and share with you about the 4 most common types of senior living options that are available. We have a lot of options that are wonderful here in Austin, Texas. And then at the end of that, I would like to share with you, I think I have 5 books here that are my favorite books regarding aging, and I think they're really informative. So I will get started with sharing with you about senior living options. There are 4 of them. The first one is 4 most common. The first one is for apartments for people over 55. The second one is more traditional senior living option called independent living. Then there's assisted living and memory care. So I'm going to start with the apartments for people over 55. This is a huge market. People, prior to the pandemic, wanted to kind of lock and leave. That's the big trend for people over 55. They no longer want big homes. They don't want yard work. Probably don't want to pay the property taxes. They just want to rent. They want to let somebody else take care of all those hassles. So apartments for over 55 attract people who also like to be in community, which is wonderful. Married couples, single people, good way to meet new people, and again, the lock and leave. There are typically no amenities. As far as you do cook for yourself still, you clean for yourself, you go to the grocery store, you get yourself to the doctor. It's all there. Most of them do not have hair salons. The positive thing is the fellowship. The amenities as far as a swimming pool, tennis courts, things like that are lovely. But again, you're very independent like you'll be in a normal apartment. Beautiful amenities, but you arrange your own social activities with people you meet. There are no organized activities, no bus. And again, this is private pay, just like you would your apartment complex. So that's a great option for a lot of people. The second option is the more, I call it the traditional independent living community. We have lots of great choices here in Austin. And these are great because they do provide you with that freedom to lock and leave. And they also provide typically 2, sometimes 3 meals a day, depending on the community. And they're typically known for their food. And here in Austin, they tend to have very good food. This is another plus. They have a community bus. So your monthly fee includes that community bus. It may drive a group of people to the grocery store. It may take you individually to your doctor. Bus services available there if you need it. You just have to reserve the bus. They also have these beautiful amenities, and they typically have a full kitchen. So if you want to cook a meal or entertain in your apartment, you can. They have weekly housekeeping. Some may even do laundry. It just depends. But you definitely get the food, lots of social activities, and that bus. And I worked a couple of years ago at this amazing senior community, and I was so impressed. We had a bus, and we tried to use it as often as we could. And we took the residents, to the opera, the symphony at night, plays. During the day, we went to museums. We toured the F1 racetrack, I think 5 times. We had a ball with that bus, and you just had to sign up. And typically there was room, and people had fun. And then that bus also took them to the grocery store. But again, you get the weekly housekeeping, you get the food, and sometimes they'll even have a doctor come in and check on residents, house calls, and then that's done through Medicare, paid by your Medicare or whatever your medical insurance is. So that's great. And these places are fun ways to meet new people. Or if you're lonely too, say you've recently lost a partner, great way to kind of re-engage. Just lovely friendships can be formed with this. And even for a quiet person, they tend to do really well. So that's traditional independent living with services. So the next level is, say, you're trying to take medicine a little bit more. Maybe you had to have your hip replaced, knee replaced, just some physical issues. You need some assistance. Now maybe you might need help taking a shower. Maybe some going to the restroom help, things like that. So that's called assisted living. And this is private pay, but it can also be paid by if you own a long-term care insurance policy. A lot of times people have those long-term care policies and they help with what are called activities of daily living, like I mentioned, the showering, maybe going to the restroom, medication management, physical help. Maybe you need a walker now or you need a wheelchair. But sometimes the long-term care can kick right in and help pay a lot of that monthly expense. And also, I was able to help people when I worked in this area who had VA benefits. And that's changed a lot in the last, I think like last year, and I don't know all the rules on that anymore, but sometimes VA benefits will help pay part of that monthly fee. You get the medication management, 3 definite meals per day, 2 to 3 snacks, prepared per day, showering and toileting assistance, weekly room cleaning, but most of these places straighten the room up daily. They make the beds, they help make the room look nice for the resident. Laundry is definitely provided at this stage. The bus for the transportation. And they may have a really small kitchen, like coffee pot, microwave. That's pretty much it, because you're getting these meals prepared for you now because you need that little extra level of assistance. And these places are awesome because they have a doctor who typically, if you choose to use the doctor, comes into the community 1 or 2 times a week and will see residents that need some medical help. And then they also have, based on what the doctor recommends or even your private doctor, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. They can come into the community and help work with you there too. And then they also have activities, not to the level of independent living, traditional independent living activities, but they have happy hours. They have musicians that come, lots of entertainment, classes, games. Some places have a swimming pool for water aerobics, but they do chair exercises, things like that. It's a wonderful way to go if you need that extra level of assistance. And again, private pay, or perhaps if you have long-term care insurance, or even perhaps a portion of it could be paid with your VA benefits. Then we have memory care communities. And this is where I've been for the last 15 months. And oh my goodness, have I loved it. And if you have a memory care issue, typically you do need help with your activities of daily living. So if you have that long-term care policy, it will pay all of the monthly expense depending on what it is or part of it. And again, your VA benefits would definitely help there. So with memory care, typically there's no bus now. You are pretty much calmer, happier if you don't leave the community. So now you're getting definitely medication management. 3 prepared meals a day, and they're typically, I know where I work, really good. 2 to 3 snacks per day, excellent, and it's all clockwork. The exact timing is perfected because they want that person with dementia to feel calmer. And they have so much anxiety that we try to keep the schedule really regular for them, especially when it comes to the food. Now you definitely, with memory care, typically need showering and toilet assistance and a lot of queuing, and that's all included in the service. A deep weekly cleaning of the room, but every day they come in, we make the beds, make sure the toilet looks okay, straighten up the room, help the person dress, help them with their teeth, help them with their hair. There are definite activities provided to keep the person with the memory issue engaged. They're not going to necessarily learn new skills. It's not a teaching place, but it's a place where we remember things. Show pictures of their family members, pictures of things that they might remember, famous baseball players they might remember, famous celebrities, talk about history, things just to engage them in the past and try and figure out where are they in their mind and how can we help them to have the best day where they are today. They may not know the actual day. They may not know it's Saturday, August 8th, but they may know a picture of the dog that they used to have, or they may be able to tell you about what it was like to live in the Depression or through Vietnam, things like that. And then at this point, it's awesome because, again, there's not a bus where I work, but to help the person with the dementia have less anxiety, we have a physician, he's wonderful. He comes in 2, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on what's going on. And he just bills the resident's Medicare. And then if he thinks the resident, of course, prior to pandemic, because we haven't had a lot of people come in the community, again, you can have the home health people come in right to the community. So the daughter is no longer driving the parent anywhere. It's all happening in the community. So we can have home health reps, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, come in and they will bill the Medicares. And we quarterly have a podiatrist, a dentist, and we're working on trying to get an eye doctor to come in. That goal with the person with memory issues is to just keep it as calm as possible so we don't overly confuse them or overly stimulate them. And again, all this is typically including in a monthly fee. Some memory care communities, if the person's not in a wheelchair or not incontinent, you may get a lower rate on your monthly fee until that happens, and then the fee would go up because, of course, it involves just more hands-on help. But that's memory care. Again, the pay can be private pay. If you have that long-term care insurance, it can play part of it, sometimes all of it, depending on your policy, and VA benefits can also help. So that's kind of it. The apartments for people over 55 is the first category. You're completely independent. Great for lock and leave. Great way to scale down. A lot of people I know are doing this because they don't want to leave their kids with this big 4,000 square foot house and, oh my gosh, how are the kids gonna clean it out when I leave the planet? That type of thing. Lock and leave, fun, great way to meet new people, no maintenance. But you don't have a bus and you don't have as many organized social activities. The second way I went over was the more traditional independent living services, bus, fun, organized activities. You're paying for all that. It's great. The place I worked at, I really think, I think the water was the fountain of the youth. Those people were incredible. I still see some of them, and I think they're getting younger instead of older. So that intellectual stimulation, spiritual support, emotional, all that is so good for people, and you can find that at the more traditional independent living communities. And again, the food tends to be really good. Happy hours, social. Your family's welcome to come anytime. Assisted living, again, now we need a little bit more help. Might need a little wheelchair, might need the walker, definitely needing help with medication management, some toileting, showering. And again, your long-term care would pay, I would assume, depending on your exact story, most of that, and then your VA benefits. And then memory care, we need a lot of help now. We need a lot of assistance. And these memory care communities are really wonderful. The one I work at is awesome. And, we're not learning new skills in our memory care. Whereas in the independent place I was working, oh my goodness, those people were learning to paint. They were learning all kinds of new things. But my memory care people are thriving. And that's our goal, is to have people thrive each day just where they are. So those are my 4 types of communities. And again, the memory care, I don't know if I said this already, but it can be paid for private pay if you have a long-term care policy or VA benefits. So now I'm going to completely switch gears, and I wanted to tell you about these 5 books that have really helped me on my journey with senior living. And I'm really passionate about aging. I'm sort of obsessed with it, and I want to be the best version of myself. And I feel like this is my one life. I need to be the very best version I can be. And so I read things, and I always have a woman in my life who's 10 years older than I am, 20 years older, and 30 years older. And I try to pick somebody sort of built like me in my coloring to see what their body's doing and how they're aging, because I want to age well. I want to be the best version of myself. And I know if you're here, you probably feel the same way, even though you might be really tired as caregivers. And I've been there. And if you are a caregiver, I know it's really hard. It's tough. But it's good that you're here for support too, and just kind of learning about aging. This book has been on the bestseller list, and it's called Being Mortal. And this is just a great factual book about how we kind of switched from skilled nursing. We always thought of our seniors as very feeble, and they were sort of hidden away. And it talks a lot about how we've transferred as a society, and what helped with the transfer from skilled nursing type settings to community living where people thrive. And I go to these communities a lot, and I really do see really, really good things. So this is just a good historical one for anybody interested. Then, if you have a loved one with dementia, this is just kind of a go-to. It's easy to follow, and it's great information on dementia, the 36-hour day. And if you are caregivers, I know you're fatigued and overwhelmed, and if you do have somebody in your life with dementia, this may be a good read if you don't have it already. I know it's a very popular book. That's my second one. The third book is a personal favorite, and I've recommended it to many people who had never heard of it. And it's a cardiologist and a hospice worker, and it's their accounts of things they've witnessed as people are dying. And I've had the privilege of being by many people as they leave this world. And this book has provided me with such comfort and insight, and I like it. I like what they say. It works for me. I am a believer in an afterlife. I hope it's heaven. I hope it's the Christian story. I hope it's all true. I like it. But this book, it addresses things like that, and I found great comfort in it. And I know people who have read it as their loved one was leaving and told me that it also provided comfort for them. But if it doesn't, for you, I'll feel badly. But here it is. It's Visions, Trips, and Crowded Rooms. Visions, Trips, and Crowded Rooms. And it is all explained as the book unfolds. So that provides comfort for anybody. I used to be very uncomfortable around death, and I'm not anymore. I'm okay, and this has helped. So here's that. And then this is just a fun read that a friend gave me, and it's for women, but it's about aging and the kind of our second half of life and what women can do. And I know if you're caregivers, you might be in like your 40s, and this is probably catered to people over 55, I would think. But great stories about women sort of reinventing themselves and living really passionate lives well into their 90s. And I think that community living, although not part of all these stories, is the ticket for that, because you have friendships, you have fellowships, people looking after you. There's more of a vitality with people that live in community. So Women Rowing North, I would recommend it for obviously women. And then my last book, and honestly my favorite, is Live Long, Die Short. And I was introduced to this book, I think in 2012. And I was working at that very vibrant independent living community. And the author of the book, Roger Landry, came and spoke. And he has statistic over statistic in here about aging in community and how important it is. And he ended up developing a program where people in independent living, they can participate in his program, and there's actually ways to track how much physically stronger they got. Different metrics, their mental health, are they depressed, things like that, their spirituality, the strength of that. There's tangible tests now, evaluation forms, I should say, that he has had people use, and he's getting great results with people aging well and thriving. So this is obviously, kind of a tough title, Live Long, Die Short. But I realized that the purpose is to have this awesome life and live many years and live well. Be happy inside. Life isn't always easy. If you're the caregiver, you're having real challenges. It's not easy. But with God's grace, hopefully we can get through each day and then live your best life so that your final days here on the earth are very short, and you get through, you get to your next levels. But this is a beautiful book too. So I hope this helps you. These are just my 5 favorite books. I'll go over them again because I know I'm talking fast on this recording. Being Mortal was the first one, historical data on changing from skilled nursing to senior community living. The second one was for people with caring for somebody with dementia, the 36-hour day. The third one was my Visions, Trips, and Crowded Rooms about people as they're leaving this lifetime. Women Rowing North, fun stories about women, I think typically over 55, reinventing, living passionate lives. And then this awesome one, Live Long, Die Short. So again, my name is Laura Dutton, and I'm so sorry we can't be face to face. But I want you to have my contact data. My cell phone is 512-740-9370. Laura Dutton, 512-740-9370. You're welcome to leave me a message. I do work. I can try and get back to you within 24 hours. And then my email is Laura, L-A-U-R-A, Rich, R-I-T-C-H, the number 2 @gmail.com. Laura Rich 2 @gmail.com. Not sure if you can see that correctly or not. But again, Laura Dutton, 512-740-9370. Laura Rich, the number 2 @gmail.com. Thank you for coming today. And I hope that you get a little bit of nurturing kindness and compassion out of today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.